Hello and welcome once again to Red Gaming Tech for yet more binary news, which is of course your daily dose of focus gaming news. Myself, Marta, here on the 7th of July. Please excuse the random dog barking outside. My neighbour's dog is rather vocal to say the least, so do accept my apologies for that. He woke me up this morning, which isn't particularly what I wanted, but hey ho. We are here not to discuss my neighbour's dog, but the Project Morpheus for the PS4, as the PlayStation chief, Andrew House, has spoken out on the topic, saying that Sony has invested significantly in the upcoming virtual reality headset. Now, of course, it was officially revealed at GDC back in March, but it has been in development for 3 years, and of course was basically only given a nod at E3. I really hoped that Sony would give some really nice meaty information at E3, but it was barely mentioned. I got all excited when they started talking about it, and well, they just kind of said, yeah, we're working on it, and that was pretty much it. Now, when he was speaking to The Guardian, Andrew House said that Sony is definitely treating Project Morpheus as more than an experiment, and he said, quote, "We've made some commitments, we're putting significant investment into the product. We do now think that we can get to this point of delivering a magical sense of presence, where your brain tricks you into thinking you're actually in this place. We think there's something that could be really, really interesting for our next frontier of game development." Now, he did give a little bit of a nod as well to the Oculus Rift, as he said that Project Morpheus was actually in part inspired by the groundswell of developer support for the Rift that, quote, didn't necessarily have a monetizable or business option. But when he was asked about the mass market potential of the VR device for Sony, he said, quote, "I don't know, but I think there's at the very least it's going to be another really interesting advance for the PS4 ecosystem, another way to deliver brand new experiences. That's what we're all about." Now, it makes perfect sense to me that Sony are putting significant time, effort and money into the development of Project Morpheus. Of course, if you're going to do something, you may as well do it right. And I think that virtual reality is going to be a make or break thing. It's either going to be really, really successful or it's going to bomb. Personally, I think the possibilities for it to change gaming are pretty damn high, and if the Rift or the Morpheus, or both even, are successful, we could see gaming change in very interesting ways, and of course we'll see new and interesting games that we just couldn't have gotten before with the technology available just on a standard console or PC. So I'm sure Oculus and Sony are hard at work pouring all the money and time they can into making the best device possible. But as I've said before, what you really need is games. That's what people care about. So they will not buy anything really, a console, a VR headset, whatever, unless it has some good games. It just doesn't happen. We've seen many a console, handheld, what have you, just fall by the wayside because the support wasn't there in terms of the games. So that's what's really going to be interesting. Now, of course, we already have quite a few games confirmed for the Rift, and I'm sure Sony have already been making contact with developers, and developers have already been making contact with Sony in terms of developing something for the Project Morpheus VR headset. Now, of course, as well, certain games could easily just be ported over. Say, for example, the upcoming Soma from Frictional Games, which I know I've mentioned a few times. Hint, hint, Frictional. Put Soma on the Oculus Rift and Project Morpheus, please. Okay, thanks, bye. But in all seriousness, you could port over certain games, especially with the PC-like architecture of the PS4, that could work on virtual reality, like any first-person game really would work. And then, of course, you have the games specifically developed for the device. So I think the chances are good that it's not just going to be a flash in the pan and then kind of goes out and everyone goes meh and moves on with their lives. I think the chances are good for it to be really, really interesting. Do let me know your thoughts, guys. Do you think that it's going to be a yay or a nay when it comes to virtual reality? Not just necessarily the Morpheus, but virtual reality in general, as of course we have a few devices upcoming. Anyway, that is me done for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.